Ma Chao, courtesy name Mengche, was a military general and warlord who lived in the late Eastern Han Dynasty and early Three Kingdoms period. He also appears as a prominent character in Luo Guanzhong's historical novel Romance of the Three Kingdoms, as one of the 5 tiger generals under Liu Bei. Family background: Ma Chao was from Maoling County, Yufufeng Commandery, which is located northeast of present-day Xingping, Shaanxi. He was the eldest son of Ma Teng, who descended from Ma Yuan, a general who lived in the early Eastern Han Dynasty. After losing his post, Ma Ping went to live among the Qiang tribes in the region, married a Qiang woman and had a son, Ma Teng. Ma Teng, along with Han Sui and others, were warlords who held considerable influence in Liang province towards the end of the Eastern Han Dynasty, and they were reluctant to submit to Han rule. In 192, Ma Teng accepted the title General who attacks the West from the Han imperial court and garrisoned his army at Mei County. However, he rebelled against Han rule later and attacked the city of Chang'an but failed to conquer it, so he retreated back to Liang province. Early career: in 197, the warlord Cao Cao, who had become the de facto head of government in the Han imperial court, placed Zhong Yao, the director of retainers, in charge of guarding the Guanzhong region. When Cao Cao became the chancellor, he wanted to recruit Ma Chao to serve in the Han government, but Ma refused. In 202, when Cao Cao was on a series of campaigns to unify northern China after his victory over Yuan Shao at the Battle of Guandu 2 years ago, he ordered Zhong Yao to attack Yuan's allies Gao Gan and Guo Yuan in Pingyang. Ma Teng sent Ma Chao to assist Zhong Yao. Ma Chao served as an assistant officer who supervises the army under Zhong Yao. During the battle, he was hit by a stray arrow in the foot, but he wrapped his foot in a pouch and continued fighting. His subordinate Pang slew Guo Yuan and they defeated the enemy. Ma Teng had disagreements with Han Sui later, so he requested to leave Liang province and work in the capital. He was granted permission and appointed as the Minister of the Guards by the Han court. Ma Chao was appointed as a lieutenant general, granted the title of heir marquis of a chief village, and placed in charge of his father's troops in Liang province. Ma Chao's younger brothers Ma Xiu and Ma Tai were appointed as commandant of equipage and commandant of iron cavalry, respectively, and were ordered to bring all their family members with them to Yi. Only Ma Chao remained behind in Liang province. Uprising against the Han dynasty. Battle of Tong Pass in 211, Cao Cao sent Zhong Yao and Xiao Yuan to lead an army to attack Zhang Lu in Hanzhong. They were due to pass through the Guanzhong region along the way. Ma Chao suspected that Cao Cao was planning to attack him, so he contacted Han Sui to form an alliance. He told Han Sui, "Previously, Zhong Yao ordered me to harm you. Now, I know that the people from Guangdong cannot be trusted. Now, I abandon my father, and I'm willing to acknowledge you as my father. You should also abandon your son, and treat me like your son." Han Sui's subordinate, Jian Xing, urged his superior not to cooperate with Ma Chao, but Han still agreed to the alliance. Ma Chao also contacted Yang Qiu, Li Kan, Cheng Yi, Hu Shan, Cheng Yin, Zhang Heng, Liang Xing, Ma Wan and others, and they formed the 100,000-strong coalition army to attack Tong Pass. Lu Zhang, the governor of Yi province, wanted to marry his daughter to Ma Chao to build ties with Ma, but Wang Shang, a commandery administrator under Lu Zhang, opposed the idea and said that Ma Chao was courageous but inhumane and untrustworthy. Cao Cao led an army to Tong Pass to attack Ma Chao and the coalition, resulting in the Battle of Tong Pass. After both sides clashed in a few engagements, Cao Cao had talks with Ma Chao and Han Sui. Ma Chao thought highly of himself and secretly harbored the intention of dashing forth and capturing Cao Cao when they met. However, he did not dare to make his move when Cao Cao's bodyguard, Zhu Chu, glared at him. Cao later followed GXU's strategy to sow discord between Ma Chao and Han Sui and make them become suspicious of each other. Taking advantage of the hostility between Ma Chao and Han Sui, Cao launched an attack on the northwestern warlords and defeated them. Earlier on, when Cao Cao's forces were at Pubin and were planning to cross the Wei River and head west, Ma Chao told Han Sui, "We should resist them at the north of the Wei River. Within 20 days, their supply stores on the east of the river will be depleted, after which they will definitely retreat." However, Han Sui rejected his idea and said, "We should send our forces to engage the enemy on the river. Isn't this more direct?" When Cao heard of Ma Chao's plan, he remarked, "If the young horse doesn't die, I cannot have a proper burial place." Battles in Guanzhong. Ma Chao retreated further west after his defeat at Tong Pass. Cao pursued him to Anding but gave up on the pursuit and headed east after receiving news about unrest in northern China. Yang Fu warned Cao, "Ma Chao has the courage of Han Xin and Ying Bu, and he has the support of the Qiang and Rong peoples. If we retreat now and don't station defenses here, we'll forfeit all the territories in this area." After Cao left, as Yang Fu predicted, Ma Chao led the various tribes in the region to attack the commanderies and counties in Guanzhong. While the people responded to his call and joined him in the revolt, Ma Chao killed Wei Kang, the inspector of Liang province, and seized control of Jicheng and forced Wei Kang's subordinates to submit to him. He then declared himself general who attacks the west, and governor of Bing province, and took charge of military affairs in Liang province. Wei Kang's former subordinates Jiang Fu, Jiangzu, Liang Quan, Zhao Qiyu and others, were unhappy with Ma Chao, so they plotted to get rid of him. Yang Fu and Jiangzu rebelled against Ma Chao in Lucheng, while the others in Jicheng pretended to urge Ma to suppress the revolt. Ma Chao followed their advice and led an army to attack Lucheng but could not conquer the city. When he returned to Jicheng, he saw that Liang Quan and Zhao Qiyu had closed the city gates and banned him from entering. Zhao Qiyu and the others also killed Ma Chao's family in Jicheng. About a year after Ma Chao rebelled against the Han imperial court, Emperor Xian issued a decree ordering the execution of Ma Chao's family members in Yi. Ma Chao fled to Hanzhong, where he borrowed troops from the warlord Zhang Lu, and returned to attack those who drove him out of Guanzhong. He besieged Jiangzu, Zhaoang and their allies at Mount Qi for about 30 days until reinforcements led by Cao Cao's generals Xiao Yuan and Zhang He showed up and lifted the siege. Service under Zhang Lu. Ma Chao returned to Hanzhong after his defeat at Mount Qi and sought shelter under Zhang Lu. Zhang Lu planned to marry his daughter to Ma Chao, but one of Zhang's aides advised him against it, saying, "If a person cannot even love his family and relatives, can he still love others?" Zhang Lu then aborted his plan. On one New Year's Day, a relative of Ma Chao who had also escaped to Hanzhong came to visit him. Ma Chao beat his chest, coughed blood, and said to his relative, "A big family with over 100 members all sharing the same fate in one day. Now, are there only the two of us to give greetings to each other?" Ma Chao constantly asked Zhang Lu to give him some troops to attack Liang province. Zhang Lu agreed, but Ma Chao failed to make any gains from the campaign. Yang Bai, an officer under Zhang Lu, was jealous of Ma Chao's ability and wanted to harm the latter. When Ma Chao heard about it, he escaped from Wudu and went to live with the Dai people around the area. Service under Liu Bei. Around 214, the warlord Liu Bei was fighting for control over Yi province with the provincial governor Liu Zhang. Ma Chao distrusted Zhang Lu and felt that he was not capable of making great achievements, so he planned to defect to Liu Bei. When he heard that Liu Bei was besieging Liu Zhang in Chengdu, he wrote a secret letter to Liu Bei, expressing his desire to serve the latter. Liu Bei was pleased to receive Ma Chao's letter and he exclaimed, Yi province is mine. He then sent Li Hui to meet Ma Chao and provide supplies and additional troops to Ma, after which Ma led his forces to the north of Chengdu and joined the siege. Within 10 days of Ma Chao's arrival, Liu Zhang gave up resistance and surrendered to Liu Bei. After occupying Yi province, Liu Bei appointed Ma Chao as general who pacifies the west, and put him in charge of Linju. Liu Bei defeated Cao in the Hanzhong campaign in 219 and declared himself king of Hanzhong, after which he appointed Ma Chao as general of the left. In 221, Liu Bei declared himself emperor of Shuhan, and appointed Ma Chao as general of agile cavalry, and governor of Liang province. Ma Chao also received the title Marquis of Tai District. Liu Bai's edict read, "I am unworthy, but I have ascended the throne to preserve the Han dynasty. Cao and Cao Pai will be remembered for their sins. I am disconsolate by their wrongdoings. The people loathe them, and I hope that the Han dynasty will be restored, such that the Dai, Qiang, Zunyu and other ethnic minorities will be willing to join us. The Northerners look up to you and your valor is well known among them. I have an important task for you. I hope you will use your influence to govern the northern border well and bring prosperity to the people there. You must show the benefits of our government and be impartial in rewarding the good and punishing the evil. You have the blessings of the Han emperors and you must not let the people down." Peng Yang's case. When Peng Yang was appointed as the administrator of Jiangyang and was about to leave Chengdu to assume office, he visited Ma Chao and said, "You're in charge of external affairs while I'm in charge of internal affairs. We can pacify the empire." Ma Chao had recently joined Liu Bai's forces and he was often fearful that he would get into trouble. When he heard Peng Yang's speech, he was shocked and did not reply. After Peng Yang left, Ma Chao reported Peng's speech, which resulted in Peng's arrest and imprisonment. Peng Yang was later executed. Conflict with Guan Yu and Zhang Fei. The Shanyang Gongziji, by Yuzi, recorded an incident as follows. Ma Chao saw that Liu Bing treated him very generously after he defected to Liu's side, so he often addressed Liu by his courtesy name when he spoke to him. Guan Yu was furious when he heard about it and he asked Liu Bei to execute Ma Chao. However, Liu Bing said, "He was in dire straits when he came to join me. Why are you so angry about this? How can I ever explain myself if I executed someone just because he called me by my courtesy name?" Zhang Fei said, "Yes. You should show civility towards him." The following day, Liu Bei invited Ma Chao to attend a banquet, during which Guan Yu and Zhang Fei stood nearby and carried swords. After Ma Chao took his seat, he was shocked to see that Guan Yu and Zhang Fei were still standing. After that, he never called Liu Bei by his courtesy name again. The following day, he sighed, "Now I know why he suffered defeats. I was almost killed by Guan Yu and Zhang Fei just because I addressed my lord by his courtesy name. From then on, he behaved more humbly in front of Liu Bei." Pei Songji, who annotated Ma Chao's biography in the Sangguoji, disputed the Shanyang Gongziji account as untruthful and unreliable. He commented as follows. "I feel that Ma Chao would not have behaved so arrogantly in front of Liu Bei as to call him by his courtesy name. After all, he was on the run before Liu Bei accepted him and granted him official titles. Besides, when Liu Bei entered Yi province, he left Guan Yu behind to defend Jing province, so Guan had never stepped into Yi province before. When Guan Yu heard that Ma Chao had joined Liu Bai's forces, he wrote a letter to Zhuge Liang to ask him, who can compete with Ma Chao. This is a different account. How was it possible that Guan Yu and Zhang Fei actually stood side by side? When a normal person does something, he will do it if he knows he can. If he knows he cannot, he will not do it. If Ma Chao really did address Liu Bei by his courtesy name, he would be aware of the circumstances under which he could do so. Ma Chao should not even know that Guan Yu actually asked Liu Bei to execute him. How was it possible that Ma Chao managed to deduce that Guan Yu and Zhang Fei wanted to kill him for calling their lord by his courtesy name just by seeing him standing nearby and carrying swords? This is totally absurd and illogical. The records by Yuan Wei and Yuzi are disorganized, unreliable and nonsensical. Their works should not even be mentioned. Death. Ma Chao died in 222 at the age of 47. His cause of death was not recorded in history. Before his death, he wrote to Liu Bei, "Over 200 members of my family were killed by Cao Cao. I only have my cousin Ma Dai left with me. He will be the one to continue my family line. I entrust him to your majesty's care." That is all I have to say. In 260, Liu Bai's son and successor, Liu Shan, granted Ma Chao the posthumous title, Marquis Wei. Family and relatives. Ma Chao's title, Marquis of Tai District, was inherited by his son, Ma Cheng. Ma Chao's daughter married Liu Bai's son Liu Li, the Prince of Anping. Ma Chao had at least two spouses. The first was Lady Yang, who was with him when he seized control of Liang province after the Battle of Tong Pass. She probably bore Ma Chao at least one child, because the Sangguoji mentioned that Zhao Qiyu, Yin Feng and others killed Ma's family when they rebelled against him and drove him out of Liang province. Ma Chao had a second wife, Lady Dong, who bore him a son, Ma Qiyu. When Ma Chao escaped from Zhang Lu and defected to Liu Bei, he left them behind in Hanzhong. Zhang Lu was later defeated by Cao Cao, to whom he surrendered. Cao Cao gave Lady Dong to Yan Pu, a former advisor to Zhang Lu, and gave Ma Qiyu to Zhang Lu. Zhang Lu personally killed Ma Qiyu. It is not known who the mother of Ma Chao's two other children were, but she was probably neither Lady Yang nor Lady Dong. Ma Chao's younger cousin, Ma Dai, served as a general in Shuhan. His highest appointment was general who pacifies the north, and he also received the title, Marquis of Chenkang. Appraisal. Chen Shou, who wrote Ma Chao's biography in the Sangguoji, commented on the latter as such. Ma Chao's arrogance and overestimation of his ability caused the extermination of his entire clan. What a great pity! If he had been content with what he possessed, would he not have saved himself from disaster? Guan Yu once wrote to Zhuge Liang to ask who could compete with Ma Chao when he heard that Ma had recently joined Liu Bai's forces. Zhuge Liang replied, "Mengcha is proficient in both civil and military affairs. He is fierce and mighty, and a hero of his time. He is comparable to King Bu and Peng Yu. He can compete with Yida, but is not as good as the peerless beard." Yang Fu, one of the officials who opposed Ma Chao in Liang province, once visited his colleague and cousin Jiang Zhu and the latter's mother. He lamented about Ma Chao's murdering of Wei Kang and forceful occupation of Liang province. Ma Chao betrayed his father, rebelled against the emperor, and massacred the officers in Up province. Ma Chao is strong but iniquitous. He is morally weak and susceptible to temptation and trickery. Yang Fu, Jiang Zhu and several others later plotted against Ma Chao and drove him out of Liang province. Ma Chao fought his way into Lisheng and captured Jiang Xu's mother. She scolded him, "You're an unfilial son who betrays his own father and a treacherous villain who murders his superior. Heaven and earth will not forgive you. You should die immediately. How dare you look at me straight in the eye?" Ma Chao was furious, and he killed her. Yang Shi, a writer in Shuhan, wrote an appraisal on Ma Chao as follows. Ma Chao rose up, formed alliances, started an uprising in the three Qians, and conquered the river and Tong Pass. He rebelled against the imperial court, regardless of whether his followers agreed or disagreed with him. In doing so, he provided an opportunity for the enemy to sow discord between him and his men, resulting in the destruction of his family and forces.